professionally. So not only that, but you're networking, could possibly have a job offer at the end of that semester, but more importantly, it's giving you a sense of what you may begin to do professionally. But again, as you can see, all through this, you're going to have the liberal arts requirements, again, all through. You see right to the health policy and the healthcare ethics. You may have students from the other schools taking those particular courses. Okay, now. Special academic options. Penn Nursing is very unique because, again, as I mentioned previously, your roommate may be a history major, but you are never, ever going to be limited to not being able to do every single thing that history major can do. So let's start with the academic options. I am a major supporter of minors. Now, you could take a minor and you could build that into your 4 years. I always like to use the healthcare management minor with the Wharton School because, trust me, mostly all your parents have heard of the Wharton School. And the fact that you are an undergraduate at Penn, you don't need to apply to Wharton. All you can do is say, sit down, I want to do a minor in healthcare management, and we say, sit down, I'm sorry, and then we build it into your plan of study. You could do nutrition. Nutrition is extremely popular. However, the most popular minor that we have right now is multicultural global health, which is a comparison of healthcare systems globally, and it involves a 2 to 3 week study abroad as part of the minor with the global health. But again, you know, it's not on there. It's other minors that these are somewhat marketable, but you could do a minor in something just because you're interested in it. We have one of our undergraduates that's pursuing a minor in theater studies because that's what she happens to have a love of being a performing artist. And again, she can do theater studies. The second major is nutrition science. Now, this is not a degree. It does not mean that you're getting a bachelor's degree in nutrition. This does not enable you to be a dietitian, but it is a second major. So you're getting the same content as you would as going for a degree in nutrition science. But this is also very popular right now. Is typically it's with students that are interested in working with children, maybe with the obese factor or possibly eating disorders. However, I was speaking earlier today to a gentleman that wants to do this with geriatrics because he feels that sometimes that is missing in the care of the older adult is proper eating. So again, we're open to whatever you may want to do. It's almost like planning your own plan of study. Dual degree. Now, we do have in place, and some of you may be interested in this, and the coordinated dual degree between the nursing school and the Wharton School. Now, with this, because you're getting 2 separate degrees, you will be awarded a Bachelor of Science in Nursing as well as a Bachelor of Science in Economics. So with that said, this is a 5-year program. Now, typically students will apply to this from high school, and if you do, it'll be on the Penn supplemental application, will be an additional essay, which really wants to ask you directly, why do you want to be part of this coordinated dual degree? Now, I'll share with you, they are competitive, but at Penn, again, we believe in giving you every opportunity. So what happens with this coordinated dual degree? Right there in the application, you can clearly say, if I am not admitted to the healthcare management program, I would like to be considered single degree nursing or single degree Wharton. Then you would come to Penn, and maybe you're still interested because that was a goal that you had. Well, again, doors are never closed. We will give you the opportunity to take the same courses as a coordinated dual degree student, and then you apply for it after your freshman year. And when I say apply, we're not looking at an application. We're looking at an essay, but it does have a GPA requirement of 3.2 that you would have had maintained in your freshman year. The other programs are a dual degree. You can do a dual degree at the College of Arts and Sciences, create your own. Health and Society, some of our students are doing a dual degree with that. Now, it does extend graduation time. It may not be as much as a whole year, like the coordinated dual degree with Wharton, but on the safe side, I would like to, again, mention that it could take you 5 years because, again, you're getting 2 separate degrees from 2 separate undergraduate schools here at Penn. And these are things, by the way, like these minors and the dual major and the dual degree. You don't need to be concerned about that right now when you're looking to apply. Actually, the only one would be is if you're interested in the coordinated dual degree to Wharton School, because if you are, well, then you should apply from it in high school. And then again, as I said, if it's not successful, you can reapply again in your freshman year. But these other programs, they all fall into place when you come to Penn. Right now, your focus should be on doing well in your senior year courses. Unique opportunities, again, because we always want to offer you many advantages. And honestly, in my opinion, this is what sets Penn Nursing apart from other nursing programs. And the reason we are able to do this is because you are totally blended within that university. So we have what we call the Ben Franklin Scholars. Now, this is a university-wide scholars program. Students are nominated to this when we are doing selection committee at the admissions, when your application is being reviewed. But I'll be honest with you, sometimes there's an oversight where a student may want to be interested in the Ben Franklin Scholars and they weren't invited into it. Again, if you are admitted to Penn, all you need to do is pop me an email and say, listen, I am interested in being part of the Ben Franklin Scholars. Now, even if you are early decision, we can't have you be invited into that Scholars program until the end of March when all students have been admitted to the university. The other one is this Hillman Scholars in Nursing Innovation. There may be one or two of you that is on with us tonight on this information session that could possibly be interested in research. Now, Penn Nursing is the #1 school in nursing in the country for research. Now, nursing research is not to be confused with medical research. It has nothing to do with laboratories and microscopes and so forth. It is about people and improving the quality of life for people. So it makes it extremely interesting, nursing research. So if it's something that you happen to be interested in, again, do it next summer, in the fall, you can go on our website and you can look at all the different research opportunities, and it'll give a photograph of the faculty and just one little few sentences of what your research is. You can email them directly, and I assure you that in mostly all incidents, they will email you back and be very thrilled that you want to be part of the research team because you all come at it with a different perspective. Now, if that turns out to be that what you're mainly interested in, you would have the ability in your sophomore or junior year, I always look at more the junior year for this, is that you could apply into the PhD program. You're applying into the PhD program. It does have a minimum 3.2 GPA to be able to be part of that. You are accepted as a junior into the PhD program, and then what we do for your junior and your senior years, we give you additional funding over and above what Penn Student Financial Services may be offering you, because now you're an official PhD student. Then once you graduate with your bachelor's degree in 2025, I'm assuming that it's mostly all seniors with us tonight, that when you would graduate in 2025, you could choose to work for a year if you want to get that clinical bedside experience, but typically students that are interested in PhD prefer just going directly into the research. So you could go continue directly in the PhD program. You have been already admitted. Now, we want our students to complete the PhD full-time in about 3 or 4 years. So what we are going to offer you is that our PhD program is fully funded. You pay absolutely nothing. In addition to not paying for your PhD program for those 3 or 4 years, we are also going to give you $2,600 a month stipend for you to live on. In addition, we are also going to pay for your health care insurance. Great opportunity. Okay, study abroad. Now, I don't know, sometimes students, most of you in high school maybe have study abroad on your checklist that you want to do study abroad. Some of you may not be interested in doing study abroad. Again, these decisions never have to take at this time. In fact, at Penn Nursing, the earliest that you could even do an abroad program will be spring of your sophomore year. So we are the only school of nursing in the country that not only can we offer you a semester abroad, but we can offer you a semester abroad clinically related, which means when you see that clinical sequence that we went through earlier, you would be doing those clinicals in another country, which requires us to have clinical affiliation with health system as well as clinical faculty. So presently we offer 3 semester abroad options, one in the United Kingdom, Great Britain, the same place, Australia, and Israel. But okay, but say you come to Penn, and you don't want to go away for an entire semester abroad, but you are interested in a abroad program. Well, again, you are a Penn student. That's always first and foremost. So Penn in the summer will offer these global seminars, and typically they could be anywhere from 60 to 80 different countries. You could take part in one of them because, again, you are a Penn student. So in the School of Nursing, do we ever want to say to you, oh, sorry, you can't do a summer abroad? So if you are interested in a briefer period abroad during the summer, healthcare related, presently with the School of Nursing, you could do Botswana, Africa, India, Thailand, Hong Kong, Spain, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Chile, France. I don't think I missed any. Did I say Spain? Maybe Spain. I don't know. I always miss them. Again, so you're never losing on that opportunity for everything that you thought that you may have wanted to do when you went away to college, and even things that you may never have dreamed of that you're going to do that you can partake. I'm going to see a chat. Let me see if there's a question. Hold on. Okay, are there any undergraduate scholarships available to apply to specifically to Penn's nursing program? I promise you that's one of my final slides, and I'm going to explain financial aid to all of you and get any of your questions. But just to briefly answer, Mary, it's financial aid at Penn is based on need. We are what we call a need-blind school. So when all of you would apply to Penn, your admission decision has nothing to do with whether you are requesting financial aid. And then once you're admitted, we are a need-based school, which means that your aid is determined when your family completes all those forms and they get a student aid report from SEA saying what an estimated family contribution is if you went to a state school or if you go to Penn. And our goal is to meet that need. And by the way, it's loan-free. So I probably will repeat that a little bit again at the end when we do the financial aid part. Now, I say this is my final academic option, but I save it to last because we're just not going to talk to you about being an advanced practice nurse without helping you put it into place. So you are able to apply into any one of our 13 masters in nursing as early as your junior year. Now, what that involves is that you would have to have a 3.0 GPA. If you have a 3.2 GPA, we're going to waive the GREs. Can you imagine never having to take standardized testing? So you would know that you'd have been accepted into, let's say with that adult emergency department, that you'd have been accepted into the adult critical care nurse practitioner program. Now, for your 3 remaining semesters of your undergraduate degree, we are going to substitute 3 graduate level courses, double counting towards your BSN and your MSN. So when you would graduate in May of 2025, you have completed 3 courses towards your 12-course requirement for you to be an adult critical care nurse practitioner. Now, anything critical care, we require that you work minimally a year, preferably 2 years. But again, this is how you could do it creatively. Say for that senior leadership, when you choose where you want to do a clinical, you could be doing that in Presbyterian Medical Center emergency department. Well, you know what? More than likely there will be a job offer because you've been there for 14 weeks, 16 hours a week. You know the nurse manager, you know the way of the unit, and you possibly could have a job offer. So now here you are. Now you're staying in Philadelphia just a little bit longer, and you're working in Presbyterian emergency department. And then if you're working about 6 months, you could continue back to Penn, completing your master's degree on a part-time basis, which would take you probably about, if you graduate in May of 2025, you could be completed your master's degree as early as December 2027. So now you have a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, maybe a minor in nutrition, maybe you studied abroad, you have to be part of the clubs and the activities at Penn, and here you are probably maybe 25 or 26, they can go back home and practice critical care in any other hospital in the country. One of my favorite things, we want you to be involved. It's not just about the academic part. So we have over 550. I need to change that because Penn Admissions told me we're up to over 600 student groups and clubs and organizations, anything that you may be remotely interested in, we can do here at Penn. And by chance, if there's something we don't offer, if you can talk 3 other students that you're doing it with you, Penn guarantees it will support. Last week I was talking to a high school senior, and it's the first time ever that I had a high school student say that they were interested in our squirrel club. So I guess our squirrel club is getting popular. I asked, what do they do? Here, I always thought a squirrel's a squirrel. I didn't realize that there were different types of squirrels. I mean, I'm not a fan of squirrels, so I don't look at them that closely. But here they sit on Locust Walk and they discuss the different types of squirrels, and they compare squirrels. And anyway, it's available if you are interested in looking at squirrels. So, of course, within these student groups are our nursing student groups as well. Again, so these could be professional, the beginning of your professional organization. They could be just groups because you're interested in it. All these groups are completely funded and supported by Penn Nursing. So, again, it's something for you to, another connection for you. It's all about making connections. Admissions. Okay. Now, As you probably all know, they can only apply using the common or the coalition application. And so let me think. I'm going to use Philadelphia as an example, okay? Because the country and internationally is divided up by admissions officers and regional directors. So for Philadelphia County, the regional director's name is Tommy Bergstein. Tommy is responsible for every application from Philadelphia County, irregardless of what type of high school that you attend or what major and school you're interested in at Penn. He works with 2 other people. They're going to review your common application. Now, this is what they're going to be looking at. First and foremost is going to be your high school performance. They're going to see what type of courses your school offered, what you chose to take, and how well you did within your high school. You do not compare high school to high school. It's only looking at what your school offers. The other part will be your extracurricular activities. You know, make sure you go back all the way to 9th grade and include anything that you may have did that you think is relevant, and put that on that application or possibly a resume. Because Penn is truly looking for the well-rounded student. We want to see you involved. Now, does that mean that you have to have 25 different activities? Of course not. It's better to have a few as long as they're consistent. The other part would be your teacher recommendations. Again, Penn pays close attention to them. So I'm going to suggest that if you haven't already, it would be nice to have a science teacher recommendation because you're looking at a science program, but it is absolutely not a requirement. If you don't, that doesn't affect your application. Also, with the teacher recommendations, make sure you go to a teacher that really knows you and likes you. It doesn't always have to be because you got the best grade in that particular class. The essays are somewhat important because unlike me, that if you are interested and you do decide to apply to Penn Nursing, I'm available to meet with you one-on-one and speak, and I'd like to refer to it as planning your life. And I meet with students Tuesdays and Thursdays. It doesn't have to be now. It could be in January after you decide to apply. It could be any time at all. So I'll have the ability to get to know you a little bit more personally than what is coming across in that application. But Tommy and his team from Penn Admissions won't. So that's why you have to do a really great job on those 2 Penn essays. And the third essay if you're looking at the healthcare management program. Now, as we know that the standardized testing this year is optional, it is no disadvantage to your application if you have chosen not to take the testing. You may have taken tests and you don't want to submit them. It's completely and totally up to you. But again, you are not at any disadvantage. Coming back to those Penn essays, these are the 2 Penn essays, and of course, you can find all these on the Penn Admissions website. If you have any questions about anything, don't go on the nursing website because that's really just talking about the academic part of the nursing school. If you want to talk about the admissions and all the opportunities and advantages that Penn can offer you, stay with the Penn Admissions website. And now coming back to Mary's question, here is financial aid. You know, and as I mentioned, it's a need-blind school. So let's say that your family, when they received your student aid report, and maybe you have a brother that's going to be a junior at another college, and the student aid reports come back and say, this is what your family can afford. Well, Penn is going to look at half of that for your aid, because again, for your cost, because again, if we're based on need, we can't expect your family to pay $20,000 for you to go to Penn and $20,000 for your brother to go to University of Delaware. So it'd be, and then how we meet that is going to be, we're committed to meeting whatever that need is saying that your family can afford to spend this much. It's called an estimated family contribution. And how we meet that need is with loans. This is definitely a loan-free university. But let's say that family contribution is a little bit of a stretch, that your parents say, gosh, we really can't afford this. And so first of all, you have to let us know, because then we would do a reevaluation and hopefully that we can improve on that financial aid. But the very bottom line is that you still have the ability to borrow those low-interest, federal subsidized loans that you can borrow and give it to your parents to help with their parental contribution piece of it, and it does not take away any financial aid grant that Penn has given you. So it's not like a substitution because you took a loan. And those loans, you don't even go into repayment until 6 months after you graduate. We're here to support you. Again, if you're admitted to Penn, you know, there's highs and lows. Sometimes you need a little bit of support. Maybe you haven't had chemistry since 10th grade and it's honors chemistry, and chemistry is your first science that you will have at Penn. So trust me, you probably forgot it a little bit. Well, then look at all the different tutoring opportunities that you have. Writing. Not all schools emphasize writing papers. Most colleges will. So again, you can come to Penn, and we have the critical writing program at Kelly Writerstown that you can take your papers to be critiqued before you ever even hand them in. And you can do that through all 4 of your years here at Penn. The other part would be that maybe, and I don't have it on here, but maybe, I always feel that fall freshman year is probably, in my opinion, the most challenging semester because you're adjusting from living away from your family. Maybe you never had a roommate. Maybe you're missing. I was talking to a young man yesterday, and he has 2 sisters, but he told me how much he's going to miss his dog. I said, okay. I bet he winds up missing his sisters more than the dog, but whatever. So anyway, sometimes you maybe need a little bit of support. Maybe some of you aren't really good at managing your time. Maybe you're procrastinators and you don't do projects until the night before. Not a good idea when you go to college. So we have this whole Weingarten Center that works with you to help you with time management and study skills to show you the proper way to study. So I promise you is that if you apply and you are admitted, it's not all bells and whistles. There's going to be challenging times, but you are going to be provided with the support necessary to make you successful. And the last slide, that's me. I wouldn't call the phone, even though I think that it goes to my computer, but typically people aren't calling. That is my email. No question is too small. I am always available. If I don't know the answer to a question, I usually know where I can find the answer. So use me as your contact. So now I'm going to come out and stop sharing. And I think we have some questions in the chat. Look at that. I see the chat now. Okay. All right. I have to remember because the first time I did this chat, there's 2 little X's. I don't know if you can see them. One's on the right side and one's on the left side. Well, don't click the one on the right side because that shuts down the whole webinar. So are there undergrad? Okay. How many clinical hours do you receive? Jonathan, over from spring sophomore year through completion of spring senior year, it would be over 800 clinical hours that you will have exposure. Can you please take your time? Was I talking too fast? I'm sorry. Let me see. Where'd that go? Stella Matsu, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. If there is anything you want me to repeat, just type it in there. Aiden says, are applications read by the nursing committee or one committee? It's all one committee. So what happens, Aiden? Good question. And I'm using Philadelphia as an example. Tommy will read every application from Philadelphia, regardless of the school. Now, the only time the 4 schools are ever divided would be for the admissions purpose. At that point, even though Tommy and his team have read all 4 schools, but at that point, nursing applications will be reviewed at a committee with other nursing applications, the Wharton, engineering, and the college. I am considered a Penn admissions partner, so I will join the admissions team at that point for the nursing school. My colleague Jonathan will join for the Wharton School. Alan will join for the engineering school. So our input is not the academic piece, that's determined by Penn admissions, but our input is the fit, if you're a good fit for the particular program. You're welcome, Jonathan. What's your typical class size? Well, you know what, Mary, this is a good lead-in for a question. Right now, we have 130 freshmen. So that tells you right there how small the classes are. Your clinical groups are never larger than 8 students to a clinical master prepared clinical instructor. Now, with Penn Nursing, you're getting the benefit of both worlds. You're in a small school environment, but you'll be part of 2,400 freshmen at Penn. And this is why we can offer you these academic options, because you are truly blended into the university. I know I repeat myself with that, but it's so critically important. But you also have the advantage of 12 graduate schools on campus, and let us never forget the 600 clubs and activities that are available to you. So the faculty-student ratio in the School of Nursing is 4 to 1. Now, let me share with you how many applications, because that would be the second thing that I'm sure that somebody's going to type up there. If not, that I would probably type it above myself, is you can go onto the Penn Admissions website and you can see all the different the statistics for the class of, I'm assuming hopefully 2024 is up there, but it'll tell you how many applications, how many remitted, how many matriculated. It'll tell you early decision versus regular decision. It'll tell you gender, geographic diversity, average testing. But the one thing it'll never tell you, how many applications to the School of Nursing. You'll never hear that. You'll never see it published. You'll never see it released because Penn Talks is the one university. Everybody applies to Penn admissions. But I want to share that with you because I know when I say that we have 103 freshmen, I'm sure that provokes a little bit of anxiety. So last year for our current freshman class, we had over 1,200 applications. We admitted 121. We presently have 103 freshmen. We want to remain small. We want to have, an average class of 100 students. Because of the clinical component, we want to make sure that you get very personalized hands-on experience. Okay, let's see. Are you able to? Oh, God, yeah, I love Camellia? Yeah, I would love, hi, Camellia. I would love if you ask questions over the microphone. I prefer that so much better. Sure. Hi. So first, tell me, where are you from? Where are you from first?
Oh, I'm from Oregon.
Oh, wow, way out there, huh? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cross country.
Mm-hmm.
So my question was about transferring. I'm currently in a community college, and I want to I plan to transfer to Penn in the year 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering what prerequisites I had to get in order to apply and
You know what you should do, Camellia, if you don't mind, how about if you email me? I don't actually work with transfer students, but my colleague Philomena Churchelli does, and she'll tell you, and actually the email that I respond to you will actually list the courses that you should be considering taking at a community college, and then Philomena will also talk with you. You said that you were looking to transfer in 2023. Why, are you getting an associate degree first before you transfer? Are you looking at an associate degree in nursing? Like what are you doing at the community college?
So they offer actually a transfer degree in an Associates of Arts, but I'm specifically majoring in nursing.
Okay. Because you don't need to have an associate degree to be a transfer student. You just have to have 8 college credit level courses. So you want to follow the pace that I will email you. And then right now Philomena is working very closely with the accelerated population. What the accelerated population is, for all of you, just as an FYI, accelerated students have a degree in another field and are looking at nursing as a second degree. You're not in any classes with them, but the only reason I'm mentioning this is for you, Camellia, is because Philomena is very involved with them right now, but I promise you, you email me and she will respond to you in about a week or two, but I'll keep track of it as well. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have any questions that they want to actually not type? Huh? Because I love you. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Santosh, am I saying it right?
It's Santos.
Santosh, okay. Where are you from?
Maryland.
Maryland, okay. All right.
I'm currently at high school. I'm around Annapolis.
Oh, okay. Well, that's beautiful. I was going to D.C. Have you ever been to that, not the Baltimore Harbor, that other harbor that's down real close to D.C. in Maryland? So pretty, National Harbor.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times.
Isn't that beautiful? Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It is. But going there last year at the holidays when we were able to go to places before we were all kind of whatever, is we got lost in Annapolis. This is my whole point. Like, oh, what a beautiful area that's there. Now you probably forgot your question because I've been talking to you about Maryland instead of asking your question. So what is your question?
Yeah, I had a question about the Benjamin Franklin Scholars Program. Mm-hmm. Is that for your senior year in college or senior?
Mm-hmm. No. It's for your 4 years at Penn. So it has nothing to do with your college. And you could be invited into this. And the thing with the Ben Franklin Scholars, it's not an increase in your coursework. It's because there are certain courses at Penn that are set aside that you would be that you could take as a Ben Franklin Scholar. So again, we nominate people during the admissions committee, but sometimes honestly we oversight on people. And if that's something that you're interested in, and it wouldn't have to be at the end of March, after everybody's received their decision, you can email me directly, and I will put you in touch with the faculty director. And I promise you that if that's something you're interested in, we would invite you into the Ben Franklin Scholars, okay? One of the courses, okay. I don't know if you have already been following the news, but President-elect Biden has selected a team to work on this COVID and how, what we can. And one of the people he selected is Emmanuel Ecclesiel. I know I'm destroying his name. And he actually is a Penn professor. And he's part of the team. That's where somebody that you could be taking a Ben Franklin Scholars course with. He's like all about policies, healthcare policy and everything. Okay? Anybody else?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I actually have a question.
Can't see who you're down. See, now you're down on my phone. Do you notice I keep going up and down because I'm in two different places? Don't ask. It'd be too hard for me to explain. So you are Naomi. I love your name, Naomi.
Yes.
Where are you from?
We actually talked on the phone before, I think. I'm from Orlando, Florida.
Okay. And did I tell you when we spoke on the phone that I love your name? I probably said I loved your name at that point too, right? At least I'm consistent, right? Yeah. So how can I help you?
I just wanted to make sure that I got right when I was writing it down. It's Smith, MAR at Nursing.
Yes. .UPenn. Yeah. .edu. Yes. So it's my last name Smith, Mayor, my first three initials, MAR, at Nursing, completely spelled out, .UPenn, UPENN, .edu for education. Okay?
Yeah, and then my other question was, could you explain a little more about the health communications minor?
Can you say it again because it's going in and out? Your other question was about the health leadership?
The health communications minor.
Oh, sure. Oh, wow. Nobody ever asked about that one. Yeah, that's pretty neat. One of our, Annenberg School for Communications is one of our 12 graduate schools at Penn. And of course, I'm trying to talk all of you into considering Penn, so I'm being a little bit shameless and giving you a lot of our firsts, is that the Annenberg School for Communications, like the nursing school, like the Wharton School, is #1 in the country, okay? Now, because we had at one time a student in nursing that was interested in doing a minor in communications. So we went to the communications because it's a graduate program. There's not an undergraduate degree in communications. This is a graduate program. So we went to them and we said that we wanted to do a minor, and of course they looked at us like, what? They agreed to it. So we're the only undergraduate school at Penn that you can do a minor in communications with the Annenberg School. So Naomi, I would be not giving you the right information because I'm not sure what courses that involve to do a minor, but this is what I'm going to tell you to do. Now, if I just told you to stay on the Penn Admissions website, come into the School of Nursing website. And up at the top on the banner, you want to, don't click into admissions. You don't need to hear about admissions over and over again. Click into it. Academics is right next to admissions. On the banner across the top, you click into academics. Then on the left-hand side, you're going to click into the undergraduate nursing program, or maybe it says the Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. And right there, just look for the word minor. Click on the minor, and then it's going to pull up all the minors that are the most popular. You can click into that communications one, and it'll tell you exactly what those courses are. Now, the reason that students might do this one is maybe they're interested in something unique. Maybe they're looking at possibly politics. Maybe they're looking at public health, and they want to have the communication skills that is necessary for that. And again, this is something you could just explore at this time of year because you don't even have to even talk about it until you're a fall freshman and you say, I want to do that minor in communications. And we say, okay, let's put this together for you. Okay?
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Raining really hard here in Philly. Is it raining down there in Florida, Naomi? Is it raining in Florida?
It usually happens in the morning, sadly. So there's sunlight when usually.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, in Orlando it rains and it goes away and it's completely dry like 10 minutes later. Now, where's our student from Oregon? You probably get a lot of rain up there. Yes, but that was Camelia. You're from Oregon, right? Is it raining? No, you have sun coming in your window.
It kind of depends on where you live. For example, in Eastern Oregon, it gets really dry and it snows a lot, but on the western side of Oregon, it's super rainy and it's really cold.
Never been to Oregon, but I heard that it's a beautiful, well, at least the students that come to Penn from Oregon tell me it's a beautiful state and I need to go there and visit. So I always wanted to do Seattle too. Yeah. So put that on my, I don't want to say bucket list, that'll make me feel older than I really am, but I'll put it on my list to do. So does anybody else have any other questions or anything? All right, so listen, I mean it sincerity, is that if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me, okay? If you want to speak to me personally, and as I said, it doesn't have to be now, it could be in January, it could be, well, you want to do it before the middle of February, because usually middle of February is when we go to committee making decisions. But is that, and you could arrange, I typically meet with students on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll increase those days in January if necessary. But again, I'm always available, and you don't need to have applied to speak with me personally, because sometimes you want to get questions answered before you make that decision to do that application. Okay? All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. Amelia, don't forget to send me that email, and I'll introduce you to Philomena at Churchelli, okay? I love saying Philomena's name.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I could speak Italian, because her name is so Italian. It's nice, isn't it? I know. Anyway, okay. All right. Well, thank you guys, and have a good night. Work hard in school. That's your main responsibility right now, is to see what schools are to fit. I feel very, it's unfortunate that most of you have not been able to visit Penn's campus because of the conditions. I'm going to share a few that you're not going to be able to visit in the spring either, because they already made the decision that students, prospective students, and even admitted students will not be able to visit, but we do have a lot of things planned virtually for the month of April for admitted students. But who knows, you know, this side of a miracle, maybe we'll all be back to normal in January, and then you can visit. So what you should do is you should look at the schools for the right fit. You see all these academic options that we offer at Penn. If you don't feel the connection, then it's not the right school for you. But yeah, but anyway, but go for it, okay? All right. So thank you all, and it was nice seeing everybody, and I hope to have an opportunity to meet all of you in person, okay? Good night.
Thank you so much, Mary Ann.